team is cold. Now that's what I call high quality H2O.
Hello everybody, what's going on? This, what weekday? It's Thursday, this Thursday morning. How are you guys doing? Brock the Dealer, welcome in, good to see you. Alright, we are going to jump in. Some extra coats here, so let's get a brush. Hey JD Hetzer, how are you doing? Alright, Noise Marines. Let's do this. Quick 2 coats here. You got the first coat. Get the second coat. Gotta cover a couple other colors that we missed. But then otherwise, we're gonna start putting some washes and maybe highlight. I'm gonna be so happy if I can start highlighting. Dunder Snuff, my draw, welcome in. See you too. Yeah, thank you, man. Good to be here. I have been. I've streamed a lot this week, but glad to be back. I am so ready to get these minis finished and back to their rightful owner, just so I can start on the next job next week, but it's gonna be good. We're not done with the streams yet this week. I'll be streaming, tomorrow usual time, 11 a.m. Eastern, and then I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow evening. That's right, tomorrow evening for yet another stream. I'm probably going to start it just a little early. I'm going to be painting some and hanging out. And then we are all going to watch along with the Games Workshop preview stream. So we're going to do that. I'm just going to sit quietly. We're going to watch together. Maybe we'll chat about it for a bit afterwards. And just going to hang out, talk about some of our favorite things, some of our hopes and dreams, some of the shattered dreams that Games Workshop did not announce. The Dorcas Knight, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. How are you doing this morning? And we're kind of cruising to 4,100 follows. 4.1k is crazy. If you would have told me, like, at any point in my life that there were 4,000 people that would click a button saying that they're interested in my content or things I have to say or do, I would have laughed and laughed and laughed and probably lost sleep over how much I was laughing. Because I understand. I understand how boring I am. E-Slayer, good morning. It turns out all of you are just as boring or entertained by the boring stuff, so my people. And just second coats of bright gold on everybody. And then move on. There's a couple little colors like some faded green I missed on some of them, and a little bit of silver. That might be able to actually correct later. But some different stuff like that we gotta touch up. But otherwise, get into the washes. Big old Blastmaster. What's everybody got going on today? You guys just at work? Anybody hobbying right now? Dunder Snuff, how you feeling? You feeling better? I know you're kind of sounding like death during the hangout last night, but you're feeling better. Relaxing before work. Nice, okay. Very cool. Well, I'm excited this evening. I'm gonna chill with the Painting Sun, and we are going to play a practice game of Warhammer, Horus Heresy 3.0, with a bunch of tanks. And I'm gonna teach him how to play the game with just vehicles, because we are getting ready for Thanksgiving. So we're doing an event at my local store, and my son wanted to play in it, and I was like, that's great. I just need you to know the rules, because you're pretty young, and you know, while people are very nice in this group and everything, I don't want him to be a hindrance to anyone's play experience. So we're gonna play probably 3 or 4 practice games between now and the day we do it, and then I'm gonna print out his rules for him for all his vehicles, and he's gonna have his own homework of learning his rules. So it's gonna be good. In the office today, so I need to chill stream, watch you on YouTube for a couple weeks. Oh, nice! I appreciate that. I do have another video popping up on YouTube today, and it's the next part of the Thousand Suns video. And I think so with those Thousand Suns videos, the Legion guides I've been doing, I've been putting up, like, you know, hey, here's the next part, here's what we're talking about and everything. I put that in the video, and I think I'm going to change that. I think I'm going to do a Zone Mortalis video, about playing Thousand Suns and Zone Mortalis, instead of talking about what I was going to do next. So I think that's the plan. I think I'll jump on the bandwagon since the Zone Mortalis rules came out today. Hobby ADHD, welcome in. How you doing? I gave you like 6 meds. All right. Hopefully they're working. I remember I was sick at one point, and I got some strong antibiotics for what I had, and I remember very distinctly they were small pills that I was taking, and they smelled like absolute death. I have never witnessed a pill, and it was like a pressed pill, right? Like not like a capsule or anything. I have never witnessed a pill that smelled and tasted so bad. And I started taking it. It was miserable. Like the taste would stick in my mouth afterwards. Like after I took these pills, and I was taking them like 3 times a day. It was awful. And after a couple days, I started breaking out in like really bad hives. And so I messaged my doctor, and he's like, yep, just stop taking those. And I was like, sweet. And they got me something different. And so never had to take the death tasting and smelling pills. You slept last night? What do you mean by that? Only been in the hobby a few months, building first combat patrol. Oh, sweet. What combat patrol are you building? Combat patrols are such a great way to start in the hobby. And sometimes they have like really janky contents, but if you're just starting and you have nothing else, like it's almost always going to be perfect. Sometimes Games Workshop likes to add units that like no one will ever buy 2 of, to discourage people from like getting the discount boxes. But yeah, starting a new army, starting in the game or in the hobby, good time. Grey Knights. Oh, cool. The one that came with the old school box knot, right? The Castaferum. That's really cool. That box gets memed on a lot. It's pretty poor compared to the last one, but you know, like what are you gonna do? Like that's what's out now. But sweet dude, Grey Knights. Hopefully Grey Knights get some model updates in the next year or two. But they're fun. I've painted my share of Grey Knights, I feel, and I've enjoyed it. They're not terrible to paint. If I could recommend a color for you, are you doing like classic color scheme, like silver armor, and you know, like little with all the little extra gubbins and stuff? Because I have a color that I discovered that I would recommend to anybody playing Grey Knights. Kind of like rocked my world when it came to washing silver. I've been sleeping well, so I finally got like meaningful sleep. Good. That's probably one of the biggest things that'll help you, Dundersnuff. Like at some point your body just needs the rest, right? Too many customization options. I just need simple instructions. It gives so many options. Yeah. Should go based on a box. Love to hear recommendations though. Not paint yet. Something to practice. Okay. You never told me. Oh, I'm sorry, T-Slayer. I'm a big fan of the Pro Acryl paint by Monument Hobbies. I'm not so much a fan of Games Workshop's Citadel line of paint, but if you use those, that's great. If you happen to use or to want to try or have access to Monument Hobbies, they have a wash, and they have quite a few washes now, but they have a wash. Let me grab it here. Let me finish this one mini. I'll grab it and I'll show you. But it's a Payne's Gray wash. So it's a very dark, like gray blue color. And I've used it like twice. And both times I've used it over silver. and it looks so good as a wash over a clean silver that like it seriously like blew my mind. Like I was painting it for a giveaway mini, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try this because I've heard blue is a good wash over silver." And the Payne's Gray paint is like a standard for people doing non-metallic metal, like actual metallics. Yeah, this is it, Payne's Gray wash. But man, this color looked so good over silver. And when I first used it, it was on like a fantasy mini, but I first used it and I was like, this is a Grey Knights color right here. The like nice like blue, and you probably want to dilute it maybe a little bit, but that's a whole thing. You can thin it out a lot with a lot of different things and get it to kind of sit in those recesses and stuff. But I'm more than happy to give advice or try to help you out when it comes to painting when you get there. But I do understand all the options make it difficult. I don't think you're... One of the big things about Warhammer and 40k, the community in 40k has kind of in general gotten away from like, if it looks cool, do it. And I am, especially when you're just starting, I'm going to highly recommend like you pick a squad loadout that looks cool, and then you assemble those you assemble your squads into those minis. So you like the classic strike squad that are just, you know, the force halberds or swords and bolters, like do that. If you like the jump dudes with little antennas on their back, do that. You know, like if you want just a bunch of heavy weapons, make it happen. Like you can, like the Grey Knight box is very, very customizable. It's very much like, you know, the world is your oyster with that box. So Deseret, welcome in. How you doing? Long time no see. We are painting some Noise Marines, about a quarter of the way done with the second coat of this gold, and we're moving quick on it, but we're going to start getting some touch-ups and some washes and doing some other stuff soon, so it's going well. Army Painter Silverish Gray color and Nuln Oil, I'm going to try that. Found Warhammer Hero Minis at Target here to practice on. Very nice, yeah. Yeah, blue's a very good color to wash silver, if you're going for like a nice cold steel look. But you know, no oil is a good color. No oil is just it's just like a classic, right? Very standard color. I saw that Warhammer Survivors game. Nuln Oil is like one of the things in that game. It like spills on the ground and like hurts enemies or slows them down or something. It's really funny. Just that game just leaning into the memes. Blue wash and then Nuln Oil, or would it look too muddy? You can do that. What I will say, which, you know, that's totally fine, especially if you're using a lighter blue wash. You go over at Nuln Oil, you're gonna start to like darken the mini a little bit. If you use that Payne's Gray wash, and I can show you here in a second, that Payne's Gray stuff in particular is already very dark. Like, it's going to wash the mini and like get your shadows and everything. Let me show you real quick. I'll just put a little bit of this on the palette. I'll show it like on the back of my hand. So this is the wash. Like, that's the color, and it's like a black blue with like it's very cool colors. So there's almost like just the tiniest like bit of like a dark purple in it. But man, and you thin that down so it doesn't like change everything into a blue color, right? You wash something, you want it to kind of sit in the recesses, but that is very much like your kind of black blue. Some of that up. Yeah, none of that is necessary. I don't want you to think that I'm like forcing you to paint anything in a particular way, but Ever since I discovered that blue wash, I get all excited when people were like, I'm painting Grey Knights. Amazon, yeah. If your near stores don't have it, if you become more interested in the line of paint, and I know this makes me sound like a big shill, but you can go to their website, and I think !PA. I do have like a link with them where you can get a little bit of a discount on your purchase, and they do have a deal on their website that if you order any 8 individual paints, so you pick out 8 individual paint pots, you put it in your shopping cart, you get a discount as if you're buying like an expansion set of paints. They sell their paints in like expansion sets, and so you can buy like the pre-made sets, or you can just buy 8 individual colors, and I'll get like $1 out of that as like a kickback, but you get the 5% extra discount on top of the expansion set discount and everything, so that's pretty solid. And Monument's in the US, so if you're in the US, it's a lot easier. If you're outside the US, then you might have to look at like Element Games or Wayland Games or something. One of those companies carries Monument. I can't remember which one, or at least for like UK and maybe some EU members. The name one more time. Type in chat !PA, or if someone can do that, it'll pull up the website. Not AP. We're not talking Army Painter here. There you go. And you got the little coupon. You can explore the website. It's a great company. They make all their paint in the US, which is awesome. Yeah. No, all good, Dunder. Thank you. A good Celestra Gray alternative. If I am not mistaken, Celestra Gray is really bright, right? Is it like a really light gray? Is it like warm or cool, Mydrol? Give me some deets. It's been a long time since I have used Celestra Gray. Yeah, JD Hetzer's got suggestions. Yeah, definitely. Of course. Yeah, if you guys have ideas. I am too... Oh, no. Alright, help me out, chat. Celestra Gray. It's a light gray, though, right? Let me get a couple of light grays here. Yeah, okay. So some of the light grays from Pro Acryl. Yeah, it's a light gray. Steve Davis, welcome in. A pale cold gray. Bright neutral is probably your best bet. This is one of my favorite colors. I use this so much. Any white, this is always my base coat that I use. Like even on these guys, like that's just one coat of bright neutral gray over a dark silver. It just covered it so well. This is a bright warm gray here. So it's bright warm gray. This is bright neutral gray. And then we have green gray. And then there's bright brown gray. There's a cool gray. Hold on. Here we go. There's cool gray. I imagine there will be a bright cool gray at some point. Yeah. Yeah, first one's probably really close. Yeah, this is good. I always kind of attributed this color to like a Corax gray. Maybe in between Corax gray and like that, or not, that, what was the other gray they used for like the contrast primer? Whatever, there was a different one that was like a deeper gray. It's like in between those a little bit, but it's definitely on the brighter side. Yeah, very good colors. You don't need all the paints. A fun but expensive side hobby to hoard all the paints, but getting a basic palette helps you learn to work paints. That's very true, JD. Yeah, Moojus, welcome in, guys. No, not Wraithbone. No, the other one. The third one. Not Corax or Wraithbone. There's another one. But, yeah, Hetzer is absolutely right that it is absolutely okay, and I would say, I don't know, a good skill to learn to... put some of those back. to be able to mix your paints and figure out your paints and not be reliant on just buying new paints. I get that. I also understand having the opinion that if you're painting an entire army, having one consistent color that you can just pick up and you don't have to worry about mixing is much easier and more convenient. So paying for convenience or building a skill, and not like you have to do, one or the other, and it's not like you have to do everything at once either, right? You got time to do it. But base Army Painter 1 I have is a bit darker than the darkest one you're holding. Yeah, maybe it's 2. No. For a primer or whatever, or even like a base color to white, you're fine. You got to build it up. That's the thing. One key thing to remember about painting white, like on your minis, never use the color white until the very end. If you start with white, you have nowhere to go, and it doesn't look correct. So I always start my white colors with a gray. You can do it with fewer paints. That is true. That's very true. Hey, thanks for the sub. Was that ye old gift or yeah? Oh man, with the Prime sub. Thank you very much, Dorcas Knight. I appreciate that. I'm all about the questions, dude. I love answering questions. I feel like when earlier in my kind of streaming experience, it was constant, always answering questions for people and always talking to newer painters and stuff. We get newer people that come in, but it seems like I don't get as many questions as I used to. So it's fun. It's fun to answer. Picked up some Tamiya paints. Very nice. What Tamiya paints you pick up? I have a couple Tamiya paints. Gotta be careful with them. They say they're acrylic, but they're just lacquer paint with slightly more acrylic paint mixed in, but they're still super toxic. Mostly paint my Puma IFV. Oh, cool. All right. What Tamiya paint are you using to paint that? That's cool. Coker got into Warhammer, and he's been playing for a long time, but he doesn't paint his armies, so he doesn't have a whole lot of painting tips. That's fair. Yeah. Yep. I am I'm a big painter, as you can probably tell by the name. So, painting is fun. It can be very stressful, and it's time consuming, but at a risk of sounding like an old man, it's kind of nice to have something to do that's not staring at, a screen, like a backlit screen. And, exercise is good, and, we can do that while not staring at a screen, right? And do other things that, there are plenty of other hobbies, reading or gardening or cooking or whatever, that's fine. But painting to me is just so relaxing. I can sit down, I can turn on some music, I can just chill, take deep breaths. I can do it late at night, I can do it when everybody else in the house is asleep, and yeah, it's just great. It's a great stress reliever. And now I do it as a job, so I do this full time, but it still has that element of it's relaxing for me. So it is cheaper than therapy, at least for us Americans. Started painting with my wife while she does other crafts. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I used to do that with my wife all the time. She would be playing games on her PC next to me, and I'd be painting. We just kind of chill and hobby together or whatever, but we don't do that as much anymore with the kid. I'm sure we'll get back at it eventually. We're actually doing that. She had the day off work on Tuesday, and I was streaming and she was gaming right next to me, so we were chilling. It was nice. Love the smell of Tamiya paint. Oh man, no, that is not good. Not good for you, Hetzer. I have had more than my fill of Tamiya paint smell. Putting a wash on the skeleton bones. Nice, nice. Those Tomb Kings done. What's next after the Warriors? Let's get Dane Bramage. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Raja. What's going on? Ooh, Chariots. Cool. Are the Noise Marines a custom chapter yet? Noise Marines are part of the Emperor's Children, which are Chaos Space Marines, but they have their own codex and faction and everything, yeah. So they're their own army. We're just getting base colors. I'll get to our highlights soon. There's just a lot of base colors on these minis. Now we're making little mistakes, but we'll fix them. We'll fix them as we go. I'm feeling a lot better. Yesterday I had a really short stream. I only streamed for like an hour, and I was wiped out and still had like a bunch of stuff to do yesterday, and so it was like stressed but also tired. And today has been much better. And also, Dorcas Knight, if you jump in the Discord, if someone wants to link that Discord, the Discord link, and you want to share progress or just ask questions or, just hang out, we got a great little community, so very encouraging people. I love to see when people show off what they're working on. I am not one to like critique people's painting either. I just love to see people painting stuff. So, we have people of all different skill levels and experience levels in the Discord that share their work, and I love all of it. So, unless you specifically want feedback for me, I'm not the one to criticize. I'm just excited to see, whether it's your first mini or your 10,000th mini. It's good stuff. Putting Saurus Warriors together. I don't like how GW is doing the sprues. Not a lot of customization. Yeah. Can you give them spears or hand weapons with the newer ones? I'm not familiar with the newer Saurus and how they work. I'd messed with the older set on a couple occasions. I don't know about the newer ones. Always find something to compliment on a page. I try, yeah. No, it's pretty easy. It's easy to find something. I am also a really big fan of armies painted at a tabletop standard. We have incredible painters that will make incredibly realistic looking minis and stuff, and that's awesome, and I love it. But there's something about a miniature looking like a game piece still, while still being done really well and in the context of an army. Something about that is it's just really satisfying. I don't know if it has an in-game difference though. Okay, there are options. Okay. Oh, gotcha. All right. It's because those minis were meant to be played with the old world. That's why. In the old world, you can give Saurus spears and shields, or hand weapons and shields. He's coming over later. I'll try to get better photos of his Thousand Sons. Nice. Yeah, he's been he posted some pictures of his Thousand Sons, right? Been working on. It's great. Oh, I miss old fantasy. Yeah. Got your Lizardman. Hey, dude, the old world is a game. Global warming. Also, welcome back in. Good to see you again. Old world is fun, and it's very old school Warhammer vibes, so... Good motivation to finish him. Nice. Nice. Yeah, he gave himself a good challenge, starting Thousand Sons as his first army. The Saurus Guard can have pole arms. Yeah, yeah. Those used to be called Temple Guard. And yeah, they had halberds. It was like their big thing where they got halberds, which was cool. So, yes, they are in Old World, Steve Davis. You gotta look for the Legacy factions. Legacy factions are all allowed and fine and everything. Like, there's no issue running Legacy factions. You just won't get Arcane Journals for them. That's the only difference. But yeah, Lizardmen are right there. I play Vampire Counts, which is also a Legacy faction. And it's just part of the game. Same with Skaven and Chaos Dwarves and Dark Elves and all that. Yeah. So... I think the kind of AOS 40k mindset is, if it's a Legacy faction, I can't play it. But if you play any of the other like specialist games, you realize like Legacy factions are just part of the game. They're just free rules. That's all they are. Mirasaki, welcome in. Just chatting about all kinds of random stuff and working on these Emperor's Children. Yeah, they got all the classic Warhammer Fantasy factions in there, Steve Davis. Yeah. Or just Steve, I guess. I'm used to just reading people's names in full. But yeah, that's they're totally legitimate, and it's a full army. It's not even like half-baked or anything. Like, the Legacy armies were intended to be part of the base game and then got cut kind of at the last minute. So their actual army rules as written are very complete. So today, or this morning, the rules for Zone Mortalis came out for Horus Heresy. So free PDF. And a couple things, and I guess kind of funny story about those. So they were out early this morning for me, which was great. Got to wake up and I was reading Legacy rules, or Zone Mortalis rules that are Legacy rules, I guess, for Heresy. But rules are cool. They're a little more simple than they were with from 2nd edition, which is okay. I know people like a lot of the crunch and everything in the game, but these specific rules are a little more simple. And yeah, the GW announcement is tomorrow evening. I think 7:30 is when it starts. I'm gonna be streaming that. If you guys want to come and watch it with me and hang out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have most of the screen is going to be an announcement, and I'm going to be in this little box, and I'll probably be painting and watching, and not talking. I might even mute my mic during the thing, because, or no, I won't mute my mic, but I don't like to talk over people, so we'll do that together and be able to chat about it afterwards and everything. Quishy looking in whips. It's the skeletons. Oh man, those are looking so good. Yeah, the wash, they're red, and then the wash just like brought those minis together so well. Yeah, and like the shield looks just grimy enough. Man, great work. Great work on these Tomb Kings. Very good stuff. I like the scarab shields too. Very cool. Hey guys, check out Quishy's Tomb King's Skeleton Warrior in whips. So, alright. Zone Mortalis rules. You know, I wake up, reading through them. A cool thing is they mention right at the beginning that they're going to release a Journal Tactica, which is like their little mini expansion books. They're going to release one focused on Zone Mortalis in the future, which is awesome. That's really cool to hear, and that's the third time we have heard of Journal Tacticas for the future that haven't been announced yet. But there's a super heavy focused one. There's at least one that's going to have Demons of the Ruinstorm in it as a focus, and now there's one that's going to be a Zone Mortalis focus. So there's a lot. These books need to start coming out faster. We can't do one every 2 to 3 months if they're trying to put all these books out. It's supposed to be ones for individual legions, so like it's just tons of stuff to look forward to for the game. So a kind of funny thing is in a local Discord. If there's anybody in this Discord, I just thought that this was kind of funny. You know, someone posts the rules and we're chatting about it for a bit, and you know, a guy in the community, he organized a lot of like event days and stuff. He mentioned like, hey, let's do a Zone Mortalis day in like January. Let's plan for something. Sweet, you know, sounds great. We can all do that. And then there's another guy that kind of like pipes in, like replies to this, and he's kind of a sour grapes about everything 3rd edition. And it's to the point where like I literally will just ignore everything he says without like, you know, outright ignoring him in Discord. Yes, he just comes in, he just complains, and then he just leaves. But he replied to that where the person's like, you know, hey, let's get together and do a Zone Mortalis event. And the guy replied, he's like, I would love to play some 2nd edition Zone Mortalis. I was just like, okay, like, we're not doing 2nd edition Zone Mortalis because we're talking about the Zone Mortalis rules that just came out for 3rd edition and how we're going to make an event for that. And it's just, I don't know. I wanted to reply, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna break my streak of just ignoring this guy because it's gotten very annoying. Fox News blaring in the break room. Put on my headphones and drown it out with painting. Oh no. Break room where? Where are you? It's not in your office, is it? Is that the... No, that's not the online sale guy. No. This was a guy that, like... That guy I've never met in person. This guy I played against... Oh, at the hospital. Oof, okay. Well, good luck with that, Raja. I assume you're working, right? Like, you're not... I mean, it's a break room, right? So you're working. This guy I played against one time. It was actually me and Zen played against this guy. And Zen can vouch for everything I'm about to say. But, We played, I came over to get lunch. Oh, nice, okay. So, we played a doubles, it was like a doubles event, you know, for like a narrative league. And this guy jumps in at the last minute, and he's like, yeah, I want to play in the doubles thing. Okay, cool. He wasn't like in the league, but we're always like, more the merrier and all that stuff. Well, he shows up with the White Scars army, and it's completely unpainted. He has 0 painted models, which I understand. Most of us, like, people have lives and they can't paint all their minis all the time, and and all that stuff. Like, people play with some unpainted minis and it's fine. This is it's a narrative event. The guy talked about how he had a painted army, but he brought this one instead. And the dude was like a really poor sport, like really whining about a lot of stuff, whenever something wouldn't go his way. And then he was like trying to do like gotchas with the game, and then like whining that like he couldn't do the thing that he wanted to do, even though like he wasn't in range to do it or whatever, because of all these things that we had talked about ahead of time. And we kept just giving the guy the benefit of the doubt, and he would continually whine about stuff. And Zen and I ended up winning our game, which is whatever. Like, I didn't want to give that guy the win anyway. I knew, like, from the first turn in, I was like, I need to beat this guy. Yeah, his army's with his girlfriend in Canada. Yeah. He didn't even make that excuse, but he just showed up with a completely bare plastic army to a narrative event. And I also learned that from him telling me that he comes from another store that he usually plays, which is kind of out of town, and it's the store I played in a doubles tournament at the beginning of this year, with Heresy. And he talked about, he's like, yeah, I saw your army there and everything. He's like, I wasn't playing, I was just watching the event and stuff through the day. And I was like, okay. I was like, that's kind of strange. Like, he seems like he likes the game. Like, why wouldn't he play in the event? I found out later he wasn't allowed to play in the event because at their store, where he regularly plays, he's not allowed to play in their events because he's way too serious and plays way too competitively, and people don't have fun when they play games with him. And so he shows up to play in our little event, and tries to do gotchas and all this other stuff, and it just like legitimately was not fun playing against this guy. So yeah, and I found out later he was banned from the store, or not banned from the store, but banned from like events at that store because the way he was playing and all this stuff. And like, I've seen how people out there play. Like, people play pretty competitively out there anyway. But so I had a good time because it was me and Zen playing together, and we were laughing about it a bunch afterwards. Like, that made the game enjoyable at the end, and the fact that we still won or whatever. Our combat drugs and Heresy, maybe there's some stuff with Emperor's Children and drug usage. I don't remember exactly. Playing the final against a guy like that ended up giving him the win just to get him away from me. Yeah. See, I can't do that, partially because I feel more invested when the person is being a terrible person, but also I know what it's like to be on the other end of that, not being the bad person, but being people at like other tables. And when you concede and give the person a win, it jumps them ahead, and it like ruins everybody else's like experience. Because I've been on that receiving end of it, where I lost out on a tournament at one point because someone got so mad they just up and left, and their opponent ended up winning the entire tournament because it was like the last round or whatever. So that's my thing. I mean, I individual circumstances, right? Maybe the dude was absolutely horrible, but anyway, this guy, he's really annoying, and so he pops in this Discord, and he was one of the biggest like crash outs when he's like, my cavalry can't score objectives, how am I supposed to play White Scars? Like, there's literally no other way to play him and all this stuff. And cavalry not scoring sucks, they can score now. But anyway, he was having crazy crash outs, and I was trying to, like, that whole time I was trying to be like, well, you know, you do this with the rules, like, we don't know the full picture, blah, 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 like, here are the rules and stuff. And eventually I just stopped. And now every time rules are released or something comes out for the game, he will pipe in and, like make comments about it, and I just decided to full-on ignore him. At one point, I was having, like, a back-and-forth discussion with someone, and the guy ended up, he was replying to comments of mine, like, just, you know, contributing not much, but trying to contribute to the conversation, and I just, like, I would not respond at all to what he was saying, because I was like, this person just has really bad takes. So, what moral issue do other Marines have with combat-enhancing drugs? Is it honor, or are they illegal? I don't know. I feel like Marines are literally just like drugged up humans, right? In a very basic sense. Like, you know, they have the performance enhancing organs and all the things, so I don't know. Maybe just more of an honor thing. Maybe it's more of they want to be in a clear state of mind. So what's this? Okay, last one here, getting the second coat of paint. Yeah, so that's just a guy I just don't acknowledge, but I still see his posts and stuff, and I just kind of roll my eyes. Ever try Alfredo sauce with ravioli? I probably have. It's been a long time since I've had ravioli or Alfredo sauce. I will make Alfredo sauce, but I make like non-dairy Alfredo sauce, so my wife can eat it. But then ravioli is like a whole other thing, because I would need to basically scratch make ravioli. And that is some effort that I have not decided to put into my cooking at this point. These are the same Marines. They're incredibly different from humans genetically, but hate mutants. Yeah, they literally are mutants, and yeah, it's all hypocritical all the way down. Posted some Tyranids in the Discord. Okay, all right. Go look at Butterscorch's Tyranids, guys. I'll go take a look at them here in a minute.
First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you.
Hey, Top Mishka, welcome. Welcome in. How are you doing? Hypocrisy is common in Warhammer. Yeah. Oh yeah. One by one versions. Okay, sure. Let me finish the gold on this and then jump over and take a look. We are slowly cruising through these minis. Not a fast process by any means, but we are working through them. Fine. Look for chill place to look while doing stuff. Nice. Are you in the hobby, Mishka? You play Warhammer or collect anything like that, or get minis or anything? Glad to have you here. What we do, like we chill. We chill and paint minis. Kind of. Ton of unpainted minis, need to find time to finish them. Gotcha. Yeah. Join the club. It's your pile of potential, that's all. Alright, you got our 2 coats of gold. What game of Warhammer would you say you've enjoyed the most, and what happened in said game? Yeah, give me a minute and I'll check it out. Yeah, the Noise Marines are a commission. Yeah. There's at least one thing I think would be hypocrisy to what other opinions they have. Yeah, definitely. Especially common if you're a space wolf. Yeah, hypocrisy, definitely. Butterscorch. Oh yeah, Kit Bashing Tyranids. Nice. Oh, the cool like smokestack pieces on them and just like crazy stuff. Very nice work. Makes some incredible conversions, Butterscorch. It's good stuff. Nice. So most enjoyable game of Warhammer. So I guess a really fun game I had. I've probably played 1,000 games of Warhammer. I don't know if I could pick out like one definitive game, but a really fun game recently was playing Horus Heresy. And I've probably told this story a couple times at this point, as a good proud moment for me. But it was at a tournament, the tournament I was just talking about a little earlier. But at said tournament, and it's a team event, so I am playing with a partner in this tournament. And I'm playing my Thousand Sons, and he had Solar Auxilia that were painted as Prospering Spire Guard. So like the whole theme was just complete, and it was great, and we had rules that interacted with our theme. It was just all around like really cool. So we go into the second game, and we won our first game. In our second game, we're playing against these 2 guys, and one guy's playing Salamanders, the other one's playing Blood Angels. Blood Angels player is going full deep strike, so just everything coming down on, it's like turn 2 maybe. And the Salamanders player is all in drop pods, so he's also just deep striking everything on the board. And so he deep strikes turn 1, and then the Blood Angel deep strikes turn 2 because of how drop pods work, and then the Blood Angels rules and stuff. So we deployed in our corner. It was a really open board, and we had second turn, so they went before us. They had first turn, so first turn of the game. Heresy battles or like events tend to be like more narrative focus. So the guy that was my partner in this event had been painting his Prospering Spireguard army to match my Thousand Suns for like a year. So for a year we had this theme going, and then they announced an event with teams, and we're like, this is perfect. Like this is our event right here. So we got to go to it and like play out the theme and everything. But first turn of the game, the Salamanders player deep strikes in a way that kind of boxes us in. And he doesn't quite kill as much as I'm sure as he would have hoped, but it kills some stuff. And second turn's a little beneficial. Yeah, it was beneficial for us because we would have had a wasted first turn, because all they had on the board was like a rhino, and that was it. And another important thing with that game is the objectives in that game were there was only one objective point to capture. And every time you scored on that objective point at the end of the turn, it would move in a random direction. So it started in the very middle of the board, and then it would, at the end of the turn, if you scored it, move in a random direction. And the number of points you scored matched the turn number. So you're playing a 6-turn game. Turn 1, it's worth 1 point. Turn 5, it's worth 5 points. So it gets more important, but it moves randomly. So it can move all over the place. So they get first turn, they deep strike in, they box us in, and they kill some stuff. And then they capture the objective on turn 1. The objective scatters back into their corner of the board. Like it scatters back toward them. We're like, oh no. Like this is bad. Like this is about to be really bad. So we go into our first turn. And we make a plan, and the Salamanders player had brought basically like 2 important squads with him. He had a couple tactical marine squads that came on later, that deep struck in or somehow came on the board later. I don't remember exactly what, but he had one squad of like basically a heavy flamethrower squad that was really tough. And he had another squad of Terminators with 3+ invulnerable saves, which is wild. And they're one of the only squads that had a 3-up invulnerable save in the game. And in that squad he had his Warlord, so big like punchy character in Terminator armor. And then he also had an Apothecary that gave that whole squad Feel No Pain. So he took this like crazy Death Star squad and he dropped them in a Charybdis drop pod, which lets them charge the turn they drop in. So they dropped in turn 1, they charged something, they destroyed it. This was 2nd edition Heresy. Yeah, 2nd edition. It was beginning of this year. So he dropped them in, they charged, they blew up some Solar Ox Sentinels. We kind of screened our army and stuff. We castled up and everything. But he did that. So he had this crazy Death Star that's like we would spend 3-4 turns just dedicating firepower to this squad to kill him if that's what we decided to do. So it comes to our first turn, and I got my 1,000 Suns, so I have a bunch of psychic powers on the board. And I decided with my army, my general, my praetor, was a telepathy psyker. And I only brought one telepathy psyker because they're kind of feels bad when you bring a bunch of them and everything, but it's definitely the best psychic discipline. So I brought a telepathy psyker. And what I did was I used my telepathy power, that was a weapon is what it was, on his Terminator squad. And what it does is I shoot 6 times. It doesn't do any damage, but for every hit I get, he basically subtracts 1 from his leadership and then takes a pinning check. A pinning check is like a leadership check. If you fail, the squad can't move or charge in the next turn, and they can't do reactions, and they shoot with snapshots. So they're basically dead in the water for an entire turn. And it's like the remainder of his turn. At the end of his turn, they become unpinned. Well, I do that and I pin that squad. So 600 point squad or whatever just pinned on the board, which is incredible. And then we start trying to kill the other squad, and we do a decent job of it. Well, that was kind of our turn 1. We didn't capture the objective. It was in their deployment zone. Yeah, it was a psychic power. Yeah, and it was like the one great psychic power from 2nd edition. And keep in mind, Thousand Suns were probably the worst Legion in 2nd edition, and I was paired with a Solar Auxilia player, who Solar Auxilia were always like playing 500 to 1,000 points down. Like the mortal armies in 2nd edition were absolute garbage. And yeah, it was yeah. So anybody that played against like Solar Aux or Mechanicum in 2nd knew just flat out bad they were. So those were our armies. So I didn't feel too bad taking a good psychic power on one of my models because we had kind of crappy armies overall. Well, they get their 2nd turn and the Blood Angels are coming on the board. Well, I had taken a piece of tech. I was scared of Blood Angels, and specifically another Blood Angels player. I wasn't sure was going to be there, so I brought a Master of Signals as one of my characters, and Master of Signals have a rule that when units deep strike on the board, they, instead of a 1 in 6 chance, they basically have a 50-50 chance of having a like a disorganized drop. Disordered deep strike assault is what it is. And a disordered drop is, instead of placing your models exactly where you want, the opponent gets to place the models like outside of 24 inches from where they were supposed to drop. And and thank you about the Noise Marines. Yeah, these are cool minis. So opponent puts his Blood Angels right in the middle of the board, like right in my face, and then he rolls and he gets a disordered drop. So his first squad stays where they are, that dropped in, and then everybody else gets shoved back into their deployment zone, like into their back corner. All of his units have like jump packs and stuff, but they're all melee units. What's up, John Lockridge? Mechanic was okay if you spanned a few good units, yeah. Yeah, they could probably be okay, yeah, but it was never like the Astartes, right, in 2nd edition. Like, Astartes, you could take some variety and still have a fun game, and the mortal armies were very much like, you had to take all of the best stuff to be able to have a reasonable chance at winning a game against, like, a normal Astartes army. But, my opponent was playing Solar Aux, who were just god-awful. His whole army gets shoved in the back of the board, and his army's out of the game. Like, that's pretty much it for that army. Maybe by turn 6 they could make it to melee combat, but we spent turn 2. We spent time. I pinned his Terminator squad again on my turn, my 2nd turn, so they were stuck for another turn. And I did not feel bad one bit, because this dude took a big Death Star. He put all of his eggs in one basket. Like, that's what you get, you know? Well, we decided, the move that I really liked about that game, my like proud moment, was for a lot of the game we were like, oh no, we're not capturing anything. And also turn 2, they got the objective again, and the objective moved further back into their deployment zone. So we're like, this is gonna suck. Well, what I decided to do, I had a tactical squad and a Rhino, and my teammate had 2, they're called Carnodons. They're like fast, small Solar Auxilia tanks. And I was like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a convoy. I'm gonna have my tacticals, and you're gonna follow me with 2 Carnodons, and we're gonna move out, and we're just gonna try to get this objective with my tactical squad, and the Carnodons are gonna like run interference and try to protect them and like lay down fire and stuff. And so it was very like, I don't know, it felt very cool to even like have that idea. I don't know if it felt good. So that's what we did. We just raced a Rhino and 2 tanks up the board, and we're like, our only hope is to get to these objectives and prevent our opponent from holding them again. So that's good. First one of my older. Oh, cool. All right. Parent-teacher conference. Very nice. That's exciting. We just did a parent-teacher conference yesterday for my son, and it was great. He's doing very well in school, so it was nice. But we were trying to get some tips on helping him with some things. So It was great. I like to meet my son's teachers also. Like, we don't need to do conferences with him because he does well in school, but for a lot, as you get older, the teachers are very much like, if your kid's doing fine in school, like, please don't schedule a conference. And we're like, okay, but we wanted to ask some questions. So anyway, so we move out, and it was our turn too, right? Yeah, we moved the convoy out. We didn't get to an objective yet, but we started moving out. I pinned his Terminator squad. We finished killing some of the other Salamanders units. And the Blood Angels player, the one squad that deep struck close to us, I destroyed. Like, I utterly annihilated. I think it was on reactions when they dropped in. I just intercepted the squad and just blew into pieces. So it was great. Yeah, we didn't get the objective, so it stayed in place. Opponent's turn. They get the objective a third time. And otherwise, they just try to move up the board. And you gotta go soon? Okay. You want me to take a look? I'll take a look at some of your stuff real quick. Butterscorch and whips. Oh yeah, the Esoterics. Oh, that's a cool shoulder pad. Very cool. With the plasma pistol and stuff. Very nice, man. Yeah, I like it. I like that shoulder pad a lot. Yeah, the Tyranids just look great. Yeah, all the different angles in the Tyranids. Good stuff, man. I love the conversion work. That's really cool. So, oh, and another thing I did turn 2. My Dreadnought was a Pyromancer. So he would throw fireballs out, and the fireballs would sit on the board for a turn. And if the enemy moved into them or like touched them, basically, it would do damage, and it would like slow them down and stuff. So I tried to cut off the movement of the Blood Angels player by putting fireballs down in a line, trying to block them. It was awesome. So we go to their turn 3. They capture the objective again, but then otherwise they just move up and they don't do anything to us. So and then the objective scatters a little closer to us. And I'm like, yep, there's our chance. There's our chance right there. Turn 4, the Rhino makes it up, and I am able to get the Rhino past the objective and then deploy the squad out and hide them behind the Rhino while also capturing the objective. So they were hidden behind the Rhino from like any of the units that could shoot at them. And then we opened up on the Blood Angels army and just like started massacring units in the Blood Angels army. And the objective actually scattered closer to us after that. So they didn't get the objective turn 4 because I blocked them with the Rhino, and they couldn't kill my tactical squad because they were blocked with the Rhino. But they moved up closer with the Blood Angels. Turn 4, we got the objective again. And at that point, I think we had pretty much sealed the deal winning the game. But we massacred that Blood Angels army. Like, opened up all of our tanks, all of the pinning shots. We had 2 jets that came on the board that were just like slaughtering stuff. We tabled the Salamanders player, and the Blood Angels player I think had like 1 squad and 1 character left at the end of the game, but they were just like stuck at that point, like just could not make it to us and couldn't make it to the objective. We killed all their scoring units. We pinned anything we couldn't kill. Like, it was at that point it was over. But the little convoy play and the and like, you know, using that with the pinning and like, you know, kind of weathering the storm from the opponent's deep strike, like that initial deep strike, like shoving us in a corner and like breaking out of that, like all of that really made it like a really enjoyable game for me. So, and it's fun doing that with another person on your team, right? It's one thing when you do that on your own, but then me and my teammate like really worked together, and like we had these great ideas, like good target priority, and like we worked really well together. Yeah, it was great. You got a Plague Burst Crawler to rep an Arquitter. Should be pretty... Oh, cool. That's cool. Yeah, good luck with that. preschool independent education program for speech. She's doing really well, so no true concerns. Really just meaning to assess the current track. Yeah, that's what's up, John Lockridge. My all-time favorite codex was Khorne Demonkin when they combined World Eaters and Khorne Demons. It was so good. Yeah. I was not playing 40k when they had like the Demonkin stuff. Was that 6th or 7th edition? Yeah, 30k teams is fun. Yeah, if you get a good theme. That one was fun because it was, it's a narrative event, but I know some of those people got real serious about it, and our list wasn't optimized by any means. It was very much like asking my opponent what he has painted and then trying to work around and like taking a few tools for every situation and not like skewing into things. And I took the Master of Signals. Like, what if they deep strike us? Master of Signals is our one big defense against that. I took one of each of the psychic powers, so I didn't spam psychic powers. I was taking my cool, probably overpriced Thousand Sun squads and all of that. And yeah, it was just a blast, like playing through that. And my opponent, or my teammate was a great player. We ended up going 3-0 and we won the event. And I was also really proud. So I don't paint for competition at all, like that's not my thing. But I did get best painted army there too. So like that felt good. Getting some nice recognition for both things. So I got little trophies for it, and I got some free minis out of that. I think I got my Sakaran Venator, and what else did I get from that? I got my Vindicator, and then I got a Monument Hobbies paint set. They gave me a core paint set for Monument Hobbies that I ended up giving away on stream because I already have all the Monument Hobbies paints and doubles of a lot of them because I paint a lot with them. Demons teaming up with the demon faction. Yeah, that's cool. That's a big thing in Heresy as well. There is a demon faction called Demons of the Ruin Storm, and you can ally them in. You can play demons with with your heretics and stuff. Yep, that is my most, I don't know, fun game. Not only because like it was at a tournament and we won the tournament game, but like it just felt like the decisions were cool and thematic and made sense, and it also felt good that our opponents were playing very good armies, and I felt like we were playing a little bit down on like army quality and selection, and it never feels good to be like Blood Angels are very rough to play against when they deep strike everything and they just charge into combat and like kill everything, and it's hard to play against. So like the luck turned out in our favor too, but it was just felt like the underdogs in that battle for a lot of it, like we pulled it back together. Esoterra, so I guess you should get some demons. Yeah. You should, man. Demons, yep. Someone said they're getting demons for their to go with their 30k army. There's a Space Marine character you can get, a consular called consul called a esoterist, and they're a psyker that summons demons. That's their job, is to summon demons on the battlefield. And Butterscorch on YouTube is talking about, or showed off their Esoterrus that they're making. If you're gonna have an Esoterrus, you need the demons to go with it. Fleshhound should be in the World Leader Codex? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely they should. Gotta go. Alright, Butterscorch, have a good one. Good chatting with you, good to see you. Washes will probably take a bit here. Already got the wash on the flesh colors, so that won't be as big of a deal. There's not a lot of other washes to put on these minis, so just going through it, just putting little bits on the trim here. Used to be 80 points for 5 minutes, so nice, yeah. Okay, one down here. Next, Blastmaster. I would imagine next edition, if they don't put a Chaos Demon Codex out, they're going to shove all of what they want for 40k demons into their respective Legion Codexes. And it might be a Codex Khorne, Codex Tzeentch, you know, and so on, and then it just has the Marines and the demons. I just hope they retain the models. I'll be honest with you guys. I know demon players would probably be mad at me here, but I really never liked that demons could run like all 4 demon god units in one army. That was always something that never like sat super right with me. So them splitting up the codexes into respective like chaos gods to me is more interesting. But I think the reason I think is like thematic. Like you don't, well, for a long time, and I understand like, you know, the lore changes, and obviously when you have a codex with all 4 chaos gods fighting together, like they write the lore, so they do. But you know, the whole idea that the chaos gods hate each other, right? They despise each other, and the conflicts in the real world, like not in the warp, are like secondary to the chaos gods. Like they want to get their own selves be more powerful than, you know, their rival gods, and like that's the number one thing. It's like the great game, right, or whatever. So them working together on the battlefield seems really like counterintuitive to all of that. And just my brain, like how I see it, my headcanon or whatever I see, it just doesn't sit with me. So yeah, Be'lakor. Yeah, Be'lakor would be one. That would be different. And, you know, there's like Chaos Undivided and everything, but even like back in the day when they had Chaos Undivided, it was always like you still pick like one type of demon to put in your army. Like, yeah, your soldiers are undivided, cool, but Nurgle and Khorne will not work together or whatever. Like, that's... Did anybody ever play Mark of Chaos? The old RTS, old Warhammer Fantasy RTS? I used to love that game. I played that game, so it was the closest to Total War Warhammer we had for, 20 years or 15 years or whatever. but I remember the Chaos campaign. One of the things you would do, you would basically you would go on these missions. It was almost like you're kind of on rails with the missions you would do, and your army would level up, and you'd train more units and stuff. And but you would get to a point where you would go through a mission, and you'd come out the other end, and you would be met by like entities that represented Nurgle and Khorne, and they would both try to convince you to join their path. And so you would choose, or you could choose neither and go undivided. And if you chose one, you would actually unlock like demons from that god, and like your character would get all these upgrades, and your soldiers would like start wearing red or green or whatever, and turn into like and you would turn into like they would start turning into the mono god like type units. Hey, Alex Jensen. What are you talking about? I'm not answering a question about dictators. But yeah, I love that game. That's how I see Chaos. Like, they're rivals, right? And very rarely do they come together to work together in the mortal world. Because it's just not that important at the end of the day. It can is their siblings all fighting for inheritance. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, but you get a lot of extra fluff from Slaaneshi demons. Yeah. Getting more Slaanesh demons in the list. A squad of like 40 pink cores to charge the front line. Of all the things pink cores to charge. Alright, 3 of those down. Oh, what do you think about the Absolver Space Marines? I don't know. I don't know enough about them to have an opinion. Finished Flight of the Eisenstein. Gar was the biggest chat in history. Yeah. Gar was pretty great. Yeah, it was a good book. Also enjoyed Gaunt's Ghosts many years ago. Yeah. I have never read Gaunt's Ghosts. I've heard good things about him though. About those books. End of Red Tithe. Nice. It's secretly a Night Lords novel. I think I've heard that. Like, it's got a lot of Night Lords, right? Okay. Move it along with the gold. There's 1,000 little details I want to put into these minis. They just like keep going. It's crazy. Originally thought these would be a lot easier or quicker to work through than stuff like rubrics or berserkers, but nah, they're just as crazy. what? There's a lot of these 40K novels? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's tons of them. Tons of 40K novels. Gold piece here. Okay. I'm going to take a quick break, guys, and I'll be back in just a couple minutes. We'll continue on with this gold. Alright. Back. Let's continue on. I do have a YouTube video that's going to be popping up after stream ends. So I'll ask if you guys are interested in watching stuff about Thousand Sons Tactics and 3rd Edition Horus Heresy, then give it a listen. You would be so kind as to like the video. That'd be really nice. Let's get out to more people. Or throw my YouTube channel a sub if you haven't already. I think 500 is like the threshold I'm trying to meet on YouTube. I'm at 375 or so, 374. I think at 500 and with a certain amount of watch time, I get the affiliate status on YouTube. So that lets me do a couple extra things. So. Hey, Go For It Painting, how you doing? Good afternoon to you. Hope your day's going well. We're just putting washes. So these Emperor's Children. Getting them ready to start all the highlights and everything. I have a couple more washes to do, I think, and then move on. But getting these washes done today would be a big step. Finish up the base colors. The base colors are the most tedious part, so finishing those was really good. I am washing with a mix. I have it's Strong Tone by Army Painter, and then Flesh Wash by Pro Acryl. A little bit of Flesh Wash. On the back half of these guys. The creepiest way to say soap. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Also appropriate with washes, because they typically have some kind of element that makes up soap in them. I'm gonna start using that phrase. I'm gonna start calling it flesh wash. Actual soap. Just to see what the family says. Okay. Currently reading The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, or just Tom Sawyer, my son, with our nighttime reading. And he is absolutely loving the book. I can't remember when I actually read that book as like a kid or something, but I forget a lot of the stuff that happens. But yeah, it's a really cool book and fun. We are almost done. I think we have like 3 more chapters, and it's a pretty short read. It's definitely like a story more meant for kids. that one. We got 4 left. So much gold on these minis. I think tomorrow, the plan is for Zendro to come over and hang out. And I want to talk about, I want to get your guys' ideas on predictions for the announcement stream. So I want to get some honest, real predictions from everybody. Maybe some hopes and dreams. Or some expectations. But I'm going to have my own ideas. We'll just go through game after game that they're going to be announcing and just talk about what we want to see or what we think we'll see. You know, as always, I'm sure we'll see less than we hope for. I'm sure there'll be some surprises. It's kind of how it always works, right? But the 2 games I am most interested in and concerned about, I guess focusing on, are The Old World and Horus Heresy. I'm excited to see what we have there. I hope it's a big day for both those games. I think it's going to be Cathay Wave 2 if we're talking about stuff early. They did preview like a box of fireworks with like a Cathay symbol on it, so very Cathay. Yeah, I hope it's a really big reveal. They haven't done one in since like July, and it's the end of the year, so I think a lot of things point toward them announcing a lot of stuff. That's what we all hope, but you never know. We're gonna talk about that, and then I'll be streaming. We'll do a watch along with the event itself. Get to hang out, maybe chat for a little bit afterward. guy's done. I got two more. Two more here, and I think what we'll do... What color is it? This one. We'll get out our Plague Bearer flesh. So we're going to use that on some of the little tassels and fur kind of things. So mad? Why are you mad? What's going on? And Friendsgiving on everyone's schedule. One friend invited 2 people, saying the date and time. We have it confirmed, and that we're playing D&D, which never came up. Oh well. I think you're gonna have to get that friend to correct themselves. Is what's gonna happen, and let them know that the time wasn't confirmed, and you don't know what you're doing. So. Said friend needs to correct themselves. It's mad. Must be mad about these days. Yeah. Well, maybe they're embarrassed that they assumed things and that they're wrong. And it's better to correct it now than to wait closer, because people make plans, so... Yeah, people get stuff wrong all the time. Happens. Do you want the other people to come, or is that like not a thing? Is it like never a thing before to just invite random people? And that problem by not having any friends. Yeah, yeah. Thunder Snuff is speaking problems that beyond any of us. That's legitimate things. Like, I was under the impression it was a small get-together. Well, tell them that. Tell them we don't have space. Like, there's only, you know, this many people that we plan on coming, and that's what we're doing. Or tell them they can bring one of the two friends. There, and just make it miserable. Hey, Cultured American, what's going on? How have you been this week? Okay, we did all the washing the gold here. Bad busy. Yeah. Alright. I gotta do this Plague Bearer Flesh. Sounds like a weird color to put down, but just need a little bit of it. Things sometimes are really pressing. Do this, do that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. What is that in response to, Alex? Any Battletech got Thousand Suns trimmed down, and now I need a break from him. Yeah, well, that's fair. Alright. We got this Plague Bearer Flesh. Going to color in all of this faded green color here. Okay, any other tassel pieces? No? Hey, Zen, what's going on, man? How you doing? Tassel things, anywhere. Not on him. This guy, yes. Good, just chilling. Nice. Trying to cruise along with these minis. Choose with a friend. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. It sounds like Alex, it's a scheduling issue. And someone wasn't paying attention apparently, so definitely better to deal with it sooner rather than later though. piece, that piece. That looks like it's it. This guy. Okay. What time do you think they'll show? What do you think they'll show in the preview? Cody, I have many ideas of what I think they'll show, and I do plan on. I want to do like a whole thing together as a stream tomorrow. I want to get like everybody's predictions and stuff, but for the stuff that I'm really paying attention to, it's Horus Heresy and the Old World. I think Horus Heresy will have a pretty big announcement, so I think they'll be doing stuff with them. Maybe showing off more Custodes, but also could be like just a bunch of Space Marine stuff. Varrock did mention a new box set, like a big Battle Force box, like a FOMO box with Breachers and new Cataphractii Terminators, so that might be a thing. For the Old World, I think it's going to be Cathay. I think it's going to be Cathay, like Wave 2 will be the big thing. You'll say that they're going to show a Thunderhawk and a second big resin bird. Oh, okay. We should do bingo cards. That'd be pretty wild. You think they'll legitimize Dark Elves in the Old World? Not tomorrow, but I think eventually, yeah, I think they will. Dark Elves are an easy one to throw in the game because they don't have many units that overlap like Sigmar. So that's the whole thing, is they want miniatures that don't share lines like sails. And they can do that real quick with Dark Elves by messing with the Daughters of Cain a little bit, giving them a release, and then Dark Elves are good to go. Yeah, I think Cathay is going to be the big Old World thing, and maybe some more Chaos stuff. I think there's supposed to be like a new Lord mini for the Marauder units for the Norskins. So that might be big stuff. But yeah, Cathay Wave 2 I think is the biggest thing for the Old World. Birds taken down. Yeah. I've heard Plastic Storm Eagle, and that would mean Fire Raptor and Storm Eagle would be a thing. I would love to have a Storm Eagle. That'd be really cool. I don't have any flying transports, but Fire Raptors are really good too, so basically a Land Raider in the sky. Yeah. You know, part of me hopes for just 45 minutes of showing new Heresy stuff. I think the big thing that I would probably be most hyped for, that's like a realistic possibility to be shown off for Heresy, would be Legion specific plastics. So Abaddon and Justaerin Terminators, which that's what I've heard are the first Legion specific plastics coming. So that would be my big like I would be over the moon if they showed that. I don't play Sons of Horus, but yeah, that would be a thing I'd be really excited about. But otherwise, yeah, I'm happy to see new minis. I'm curious what 40K has to show. I think they're going to start in narrative stuff because all the codexes are out. So, you know, I don't think they'll announce a new codex. But I think we'll start getting, whatever is happening, pirate stuff, 500 worlds, whatever that is, for the end narrative. So like Sevatar and the Kontakar, yeah, stuff like that. Zen, yeah. I don't know if like they would follow a specific trend of like Terminator Squad and the named character for the army, but yeah. Well, Thousand Suns already have plastic Aramon, so that would be a weird one if they re-released a new plastic Aramon. It'd be super disappointing. But I hope Sekhmet Terminators would be the logical choice. But my hope would be if I could have like, I guess a realistic Aramon on a disc would be sweet. 30k Aramon on a disc, I'd be all about that. But if I had like a realistic expectation for what Legions would get, it would be a Terminator squad. So whatever the Legion Terminators are, which everybody but like Word Bearers have elite Terminators. I guess Word Bearers have the new Saturnine ones, but those are specific Saturnine conversion things. But anyway, a Terminator squad, an elite power armored squad, whether that's like a jump infantry squad or whatever that is. So Phalanx Warders are not Terminators. That's right. They're Breachers. They're like elite Breachers. So it'd be them or like the Crusader squads or something, right? For Imperial Fist. But a Power Armor squad, a Terminator squad, and then a character. And I would love it if it were like a generic character box. However, ideally speaking, ideal world, the other sets, the Power Armor and the Terminator sets, would have lots of extra bits to make your own characters. So then it would be like a named character and a Primarch, right? You'd have to have a plastic Primarch with it too. So yeah, you'd get someone like an Aramon figure or Sevatar or Sigismund, and then you would get probably the Crusader squad for Imperial Fist, and then you'd get their Terminators, and then you'd get stuff like that. So and then with those boxes, there's bits that you can just go nuts with your own squads. You have all these extra bits, you can make your characters, you can do like all that cool stuff, and then they're pretty much set. You get the Primarch, get a named HQ as an extra. You get your Power Armor and your Terminator armor all covered. So that would be my thought. Welcome back, Butterscorch. All right, have a good meeting, Dundersnuff. I'll see you tomorrow. Releasing plastic versions of the big guys. Fellblade, if they release big flyers, only problem's the price. 1/16 Leopard 2, that's a bit pricier than Fellblade. Yeah, because your Leopard 2 isn't a game piece for a monopolized game. That's why it's a lot cheaper. Historical like model making is always cheaper than stuff like Warhammer. I don't like how expensive Warhammer is, but people buy it and they keep making new stuff that looks cool, so I guess I get it. It's not like they're price gouging on something that's like necessary for people, right? Like survive. Yeah, elite power armor, elite Terminators, and a character and a Primarch. I guess just the Primarch would probably be enough for like a baseline, but having like a character that you can like kit bash and has like all the extra stuff on it would be really awesome. So we'll see. And you know, putting all that out with a journal for respective legion would be great. I'd also love to see more for the non-marine armies. I know Custodes have been teased and are supposed to be getting a codex soon, but it looks like they're going to be waiting a bit longer. I was thinking by the end of the year Custodes would be out, but it's, I think I was incorrect about that. I guess I can't call it yet. The end of the year isn't here, but we're just putting down a diluted black wash here. Adding a little bit of depth to the white cloth and weapon casing. Let's say dark mech. Yeah, dark mech will be coming eventually, and it's weird because they had a roadmap for 2025 for Horus Heresy, and their roadmap did not include, you know, like 3rd edition coming out, right? But what they did have on the roadmap was a new army. And you know, it's hard to pull anything for certain, but I imagine when that roadmap was made or whatever that maybe they didn't intend for 3rd edition to come out yet. And they were going to release something like Dark Mech, and then maybe Games Workshop was like, hey, we don't have a release this year, so let's just go ahead and do Heresy. And then they were probably racing to finish things up. But then again, I don't know, because the rumor had been for a while that 2025 was going to be Heresy 3rd edition. So, you know, it's hard to tell. Yeah, Dark Mech will be in Big Heresy eventually. Yeah, Heresy has not had an announcement since like July, so hopefully we get something good, especially the new edition coming out. It seems like 2nd edition came out and GW just went balls to the wall, releasing everything under the sun for like 8 months straight, and then now it's been pretty sparse with 3rd edition coming out. The Terminator, so Cataphracti are a big ticket item to apparently get a release. I'm not a fan as much of Cataphracti Terminators as much as Tartarus. So I probably won't get any Cataphracti Terminators, any of the new ones, or I don't have like any urgency to get them. But whenever Tartarus come out, I want like 20 of them at least, of the Tartarus Terminators. I already have 20 Cataphracti Terminators, and I don't use them all the time. They're not like my favorite thing, so I'm not one to play with like all my eggs in one basket, and having a big expensive squad kind of messes with that. Do you see the Honest Wargamers video about his changes and takes on Heresy missions? I saw it. I haven't watched it, but I did see a couple things. Like he changed up how Vanguard worked, and he changed up like line and some different things. You know, I'm going to sound crazy, Cultured American, but I don't think 3rd edition needs a bunch of house rules. There's a couple things, but it's, I don't know, the couple things that I see aren't like, they're not like, man, we need a document to make this game actually work. It's not like 2nd edition was, where you just have all these things. And I think Yeah, a little bit of communication with your opponent beforehand um, is what will be fine. And you know, I know Vanguard kind of stinks as a rule for most units, but also like Vanguard doesn't have to be an end all be all rule. I think if you make Vanguard too good, it's gonna be its own problem, right? You know, like they talk about like, yeah, you move and the enemy just reacts off the objective, and it's like that's cool. Then that's the one reaction that unit gets, and that's one of the 3 reactions your opponent gets a turn. So like it's not like it's a free exchange. Sure, you're scoring less victory points, but putting your opponent in a worse position in the long run. Like I have been on the receiving ends of those Vanguard and like used my reaction. It's not always an easy decision. But a Deathwing Assault box set, some upgrade sprues, Assault Terminators, Inner Companions. Yeah, cool. Very cool. Yeah. Now one day you get to it, right? So Heresy player, what do you think about a Death Guard army where the command have turned more Nurgle than most? That's fine. Yeah. No, I mean like weren't the Death Guard by the time they were at Terra, right? They were like full Nurgle corruption. So thematically that works just fine. And yeah, if characters turn themselves over to Nurgle sooner rather than later, then that's part of it. Nurgle's gonna get rules eventually, or Death Guard's gonna get rules eventually for like Nurgle corrupted Marines.
Thank you for allowing me back into
Hey, thanks for the follow, Herpes the Clown. What a thoughtful screen name there. How you doing? Yeah, also Butterscorch, if you're talking rules wise, you can make units as corrupted like Marine squads. There's rules for doing that for the traders, and it's a prime advantage. When you select your army, you can get the prime advantage, and it makes it all Nurgle corrupted and gives them a bunch of extra rules. So very cool. I have yet to use that prime advantage, but I'm looking forward to it. And I kind of regret I made my video about troops and I didn't even mention that prime advantage, and now I'm sad. We got 4 more for this wash here. Tomorrow we are jumping in on highlights. Alright. Death Guard, Emperor's Children, Word Bearers were like, take me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Emperor's Children faster than just about everybody. But yeah, Word Bearers were already in there. Death Guard, I think it was like Typhon that basically forced it on everybody, right? I think that was what it was, like in the warp, and just like corrupted everybody. Would need to be the whole army. Would that need to be the whole army? Most of my troops are relevant. No, it's not. It's a prime advantage is like you only get specific squads in your army that get that. And again, Death Guard might get army-wide rules. The World Eaters and Emperor's Children already have their army-wide rules for like fully corrupted armies. So I imagine Thousand Sons and Death Guard will get them eventually. Maybe the rest of the traders. I don't know how they do the rest of the traders, but yeah, the thing I'm talking about with like individual squads, it's you only get a couple of them throughout your army. It's like one command character and maybe a couple troop choices if you're lucky, or a command squad or something can take it. It's a cool upgrade for a command squad, honestly. And I really would like disc writing Thousand Sons for the Heresy. That'd be really cool. Typhus is the one who doomed to the Death Guard. Yeah, he was still Typhon though, wasn't he? Did he change his name at that point, or was he? He was Callus Typhon. Get a choice. Yeah. Yep. Making some demons will probably use AOS Maggotkin. Nice. I think Nurgle's supposed to get a big. I think Nurgle might be the big Age of Sigmar announcement. Did Armon turn everyone to dust? That was after the Heresy. Yeah. Pretty soon after, but it was after. Okay, one more dude. This is our last wash here, and I think I might call the stream there before we jump into any other big item. But again, tomorrow we're gonna get in and we're gonna get right to the highlights here. We're gonna be chilling with Zen. We're gonna be talking about preview stream and see if there's anything that's leaked or that we can glean from whatever hints or teasers we got. Where they are, as said, Dark Angels Maniac. Yeah, the Fallen have loyalty. Yeah. What's up, Estrello? How you doing? Early day off, so you thought you'd pop in. Very cool. So Terrace is a chopped up Mark IV shoulder pad. Very cool. Got like a psychic hood with him. That's cool. That's really cool, Butterscorch. Well, Estrella, unfortunately, I am about to call the stream for the day, but we finished the base colors, we got all the washes on, so now we're gonna start on all of the highlighting. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. We're just gonna try to knock this stuff out. We're gonna do that tomorrow in the morning stream, and then in our evening stream as we are watching the preview together. So that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow evening, and the preview stream I think starts at 7:30, and I think I'm going to turn on stream. Try to turn on around 7 or so. So we'll hang out. We'll kind of get things going, and then we'll watch it together. So we'll have some fun with that. And then I'll be on for a little bit after the stream, and we'll chat about it and see what we like and what we don't like, and you know, all that stuff. Yeah. We're gonna talk about this all day tomorrow. We're gonna be making bingo cards or something to get our predictions. I don't know. We have some fun with it. But thank you, Alex. I appreciate it. Well, guys, you all, unless they reveal a price drop, it'll be disappointing. That's fair. All right. Look at this man setting his expectation to the moon. Well, you guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful afternoon, evening, and I will see you guys around 11 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, and hopefully with Zendral joining me to hang out and I don't know, get into whatever shenanigans we get into tomorrow. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow, and you guys have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.